Yes, well, I think I have some good news. It depends on which side of the spectrum you belong on. And the Supreme Court has decided to delay action on abortion bills. And the decision means that at least for now, women can still obtain, the pills that they can use to legally have abortions. And this is happening in the United States in Washington. And the Supreme Court early this week delayed making a decision that could prevent patients from obtaining abortion pill, and that is mifepristone. I hope I've said that well.
A what?
Mifepristone.
What's that? That's a medication?
That is a medication that you use for having an abortion.
So correct me if I'm wrong, or help me understand.
Yeah.
When you say an abortion pill, what's that like? That's not like morning after pill.
No, it's not like a morning after pill. These are tablets that you use to induce
a miscarriage?
Yes, induce a miscarriage, basically, yes.
And,
so you can take them orally.
And then the baby just dies inside you and comes out? Okay?
Yes. It induces contractions, and then the contractions force out the fetus.
At how old?
From, of course, under one month.
Under 1 month?
Under 1 month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not giving you ideas, by the way.
Is it available in Uganda?
It is, but I do not want you to go and that's why
How can it be, because abortion is illegal in Uganda.
It is. I know it is. A lot of things
it's a black market kind of thing?
No, it's not. You can go and get it over the counter,
really?
Actually. What? I'm not trying to give you ideas.
Wait, and how would you know this? Are you a frequent customer?
I did research.
Well,
I did research. They can actually, some pharmacies can just prescribe it over the counter. Otherwise, other than that, other pharmacies are going to want to have like a doctor's note.
Okay.
For you to have that. And this is here in Uganda, but in the United States, you have to have, of course, a doctor's prescription.
Well, my own personal views on abortion is that it's not something that I'm very excited about, because I was once upon a time convinced to be a party to something like this, or at least I was informed of a decision that someone made.
First, wait, they were soliciting your help. Were you the person who got her pregnant?
Yes.
You got her pregnant? Oh my God. Okay. And then what happened? You told her, no.
And she was like, yeah, I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm like, are you sure? And of course, at the time, like, I didn't have too many, like, I hadn't thought hard about the direction of things to take, and she seemed determined to do it, because certainly I wasn't the one telling her to do it. She seemed to very strongly want to do it, get it done.
Yeah.
And she did. And over the years, as I thought back on that incident, I always felt like, wow, who might that child have turned out to be, or what kind of person would that child would they have turned out to be? Would it have been a boy? Would it have been a girl?
Yeah.
And of course, I was recently blessed with a child. But prior to that, as I lived my childless life, I kept wondering, wow, did I blow my chance at being a parent back then by accepting this? If I had insisted, if I had told her, look, actually, go ahead, let's keep it, we can raise it together, or at least I could have maybe had a conversation about other alternative options. But I kind of just succumbed to her insistence, and she did what she did. Yeah. But to this day, I wonder about that.
Yeah.
And it sometimes makes me feel bad.
Don't wonder about it. The past is the past, and she did make a decision, and she was not ready to be a mother or to be the mother of your child. There's also that.
Something funny though?
What?
In 2023, can a pregnancy ever be a mistake?
In 2023?
Yeah. Given all of the tools and the interventions available that can be implemented before the sexual act, during the sexual act, immediately after the sexual act, by the time someone gets pregnant, I believe they wanted to get pregnant.
No, I think some people
First of all, having unprotected sex already is inviting pregnancy. Yeah. So you have already decided that it's a possibility. And it is at that point where you can decide if you want to take steps to ensure that a pregnancy doesn't happen. But I feel like there's a bit of knowledge or on the part of the woman, or even a desire to get pregnant?
I don't think so, because first of all, some statistics do say that about 40% of pregnancies worldwide are unplanned, because we all know that birth control, you all know that, we do know that birth control isn't 100% sure to prevent a pregnancy. Condoms can break, your implant can not work, your IUD
Those
can
to me
be
sound
shifted.
Like excuses.
No, your IUD can be shifted. Your morning after pills may not work. Actually, there was a time, I think, where people were like, you have to make sure that the morning after pills you're taking are actually authentic and are actually effective.
But the exceptions you're citing, I feel like the exceptions you're citing are so rare in occurrence.
They're not rare.
And I feel that women sometimes want to make it appear as though it was not intentional, because maybe a part of them thinks, hey, I don't want him to think I trapped him, although secretly I did.
Yeah. No.
So I'm gonna make it seem like, oops, I don't know what happened.
No, it is
pregnant. And yet that could have been her plan the whole time.
It's factually researched. And
it's
also,
not. It's like a condom.
Also, other methods of unwanted pregnancy is when men go stealth. They take off the condom and then you think they're wearing it, but then they take it off. And then they do their thing in you.
Stealthed?
No, I've never been stealth. I do not date riffraffs.
And I don't know
people who would do things like that.
To be honest, like, I don't know how caught up in the throes of passion you would have to be to not be aware, to not sense a different sensation. Because, and for example, as a guy, you could be wearing a condom and it could start to slip off.
Yeah, it could
right?
slip off.
Depending on what's going on down there.
Yeah.
But I mean, most men can stop themselves and be like, oh, wait up, hold up.
Some men.
Give me a minute. And then either get a fresh new one or adjust the one that you're using.
Some men, others
And the
don't.
most awkward thing is when it disappears inside.
Exactly. See, some
Has that ever happened to you?
No, never. Never happened to me. Again, I don't date riffraffs who don't know their condom size. I don't do that. But then there are also other forms in which women get pregnant. It's through rape, through molestation. Those are also ways that women do get pregnant.
Okay, that's
and there are also women who get pregnant because they don't have access to these, family.
I understand, but really, when you think about an urban dwelling, educated, working female, I feel like she's got all the tools available.
I have a friend who got
fertility.
I have a friend who got pregnant after inserting an IUD.
See, that's what she told you.
No, she did. I was with her when she got her IUD, and then she thought that she was safe, and then she was not, and now she has a beautiful, handsome baby boy.
And that's great. But are you neglecting the fact that a lot of times girls secretly want to conceive?
No,
you want to. They may want to conceive but not admit it to their friends and
like
to themselves.
You said, it's 2023. Women are actually not what you think they are. The women's desires are not actually what you think they are. I'm sure there are women who want to have babies, and there are women who go as far as even doing the IVF and all that stuff and going to sperm banks, and there are those ones. But in this economy, I don't think people are intentionally wanting to have babies, especially if you're working hard for your money.
Please. You think Vanessa, who you've covered extensively on this segment, you don't think she wanted to have Bruno K's child? Because
I don't think so.
The way you were talking about it, I think they hooked up once.
Yeah, I think they did.
And it was for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But even then,
During
it was enough.
Day.
You see, this was a girl with a mission. You see, I have such a high opinion of women. I know they're smart. Look, every woman knows.
Not all of
she
them.
knows
Not
her
all
cycle.
of them are educated.
She knows her safe days. She knows when she's ovulating and likely to conceive. And if at that point you hook up with a guy without protection, and then within the next 72 hours you don't take steps to prevent that pregnancy from happening, which you do have those options. There's a morning after pill, or plan B as they call it.
But you're speaking from a perspective of women who have access to these resources,
so
who
Vanessa
have the
didn't
education.
know about
I'm
plan
not talking
B?
I'm not talking about Vanessa. That is her business. But I'm talking about women who don't have access to this.
Yeah, the village,
over 900,000 young ladies did get pregnant during the lockdown. You can't say they just had this.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, there was a whole campaign. I don't remember which organization it was, but it was basically a Planned Parenthood campaign, and they were, breaking down some of the myths. Do you know that some people think that if you, squat over a mingling stick, you don't get pregnant?
If you do what?
Squat over a mingling stick after having sex. it's weird things like that, fat boy. And
Okay, so
these are actual myths that and girls think that they can, beat pregnancy by squashing over mingling stage.
All right, but anyway, I think reproductive health is a very critical and important issue, and it is something that requires a lot of discussion. Some people like to say that only women should have a say in the matter. I tend to think men can also chip in. We have our views on these things. Allow us to also have an input in the conversation.
Your input should be financial.
There we
Support me, please,
sexual and financial, right?
Support me. Come
That's
to
right.
all the antenatal. Hold my hand in the delivery room.
Please. You see how men are being used
Help
and
me.
exploited?
This is your child.
This is
Change
sad.
diapers, please. Feed the baby. When the baby wakes up at 2 a.m. That's the kind of support I want.
Last question. If a girl wants to have an abortion or terminate a pregnancy and the man doesn't want her to do it, should he not have a say in that decision? Because if she were to decide to keep the child, whereas he doesn't want it, he still would have to pay. He would be held to that responsibility.
Yeah.
So don't you think that in the interest of fairness, therefore, a man should have a say as to whether or not the child is kept or not?
I do agree that both parents have to have a say in whether they can keep the child or not. But it should be amicable where you have, clearly weighed the pros and the cons. Because along the way, people can decide to change their mind. But at the end of the day, I am all for, what is that word? Mediation. Talk about it and see what is best for the both of you. And what is also best for the woman, because she's going to be carrying this child. So if you do say that she's going to carry the child, there was that story about the man who insisted that he wanted the child and the chick said she did not want the child. This is a real story, by the way. Let me finish up quickly. It's a real story. So she was like, fine, you want your child? Kawa. She did her 9 months. As soon as the baby was out, she gave the baby to the man. She got a tummy tuck and she moved states. She also just waived all her maternity rights. And now the man, guess what?
What?
He turns around and starts complaining and wanting to take her to court.
For what?
Take her to court for not being a present mother and not paying child support. After she had waived all her maternity rights, she have your baby, she got a tummy tuck and she moved states. She went on living her best life. She did not want the child.
That obviously is not a good thing.
Exactly.
I mean, if that's what they agreed upon, and he insisted on having the child, that's another thing. If you're the one that insists on it, you need to be willing to assume the responsibility for it.
Exactly.
Just like if you insist on keeping a child and I tell you I don't want it, you too should bear the responsibility of that child and not bother me who told you I don't want it.
And I agree with that. And I think that if you find yourself in a conundrum where the other person doesn't want the child, don't have it.
Yeah.
And find you someone who wants to have one with you.
So
Case
please,
closed.
practice safe sex.
Yeah.
Very important message.